Hey everyone, welcome to This Week in Marketing Show, also known as the TWIM Show. I'm your host Sajid Islam, and today I'll be going over the notable news and updates in the digital marketing space from the week of September 7, 2020. First of all, we are going to start off with news from our good friend at TikTok. So looks like back in July, TikTok had announced the Creator Fund, and obviously a lot of TikTokers had applied for it, and some people started getting money from it as well. But TikTok was pretty made it very simple to join the creator fund, but it looks like a lot of the people are upset in terms of what they're getting back from TikTok in terms of monetizations. And there are claims as well that if a video or if a creator on TikTok is trying to monetize, then their reach is not as much as if they had opted not to. And now this is not all like hearsay. It's like one of the TikTok users, that's what he did. He created a video and he was not getting any reach, he was not getting any distribution, and then obviously he exited the program, and then suddenly he got a lot of things. Now this brings into question, like what's TikTok really doing, right? Some people have complained, like the money they're getting back in terms of the video, it's really minuscule. It could be a lot more for people like in another country where a dollar to that country's currency exchange is a lot higher, and especially if someone who has a lot of time on their hand. But if it's a creator in the US trying to monetize from TikTok, and this is it's going to happen, having $1 billion war chest, that in terms of doing a creator fund doesn't really do anything. So TikTok hasn't really come out and explained what's going on over there, but it just seems like there are a lot of news around. People are saying, hey, this thing is not really working out, this thing is fake, this thing is weird, this thing is everything else. So why are we sharing in this in our show? It's because we covered the creator fund in our show back in July when this was announced, and we talked about it. So it was a good way to get monetized. But if this is what's going to happen, where TikTok is going to not be transparent and basically do hokey pokey, it's going to chase users away. People are going to leave. And if creators are not really going to make money off this platform, then they probably have to figure things out. I'm pretty sure this is like a teething issue where TikTok is still figuring it out, and what they're doing is an algorithm issue. That's what they're going to come out and say that, but will remain to be seen. So anyway, moving on, let's move on to the next thing. We have from a report from our good friend at Twitter. Twitter basically recently, last week, or sorry, this week, since it's This Week in Marketing, and I'm recording this on a Sunday, so the week hasn't finished yet. So our friends at Twitter released some data around back to school trends in terms of what they have seen between the back to school period in 2019 versus 2020, and they kind of highlighted through infograph in terms of what they're seeing. So I'm going to quickly cover that in our show right now. One of them is like they have seen a lot of uptick on demands in computers and tablets. That goes without saying, but it's good to kind of someone validating, because Twitter is saying has been a 77% uptick on computers and 86% uptick on tablets. Along the same side, they've seen a 50% decrease in pencils and 13% in folders. So that kind of shifts, like, obviously, kids, school, universities are going into virtual mode, distance learning. So that's really understandable. People have seen a lot of uptick in pajamas, sweatpants, Twitter. And believe it or not, 405% on pajamas and 424% in sweatpants, whereas the demand for, or the trends on shoes and jeans have gone down about roughly 50%. Shoes was 55% and jeans was 46%. Same way, self-care, that has really gone down on Twitter. Twitter is saying there's face care, hair care, physical wellness has gone down. It's just, it's a shift. As we are home, people are not really worried about hair care. They're behind the computer screens all day long. What does it mean for a marketeer or someone listening to our show? It means that if you are in this space, pajamas, sweatpants, that's your opportunity. We are going to be home for a certain extended period of time. COVID-19 is not going to get over anytime soon. This should give you some idea of how to market, right? This should give you idea of maybe if you're thinking of getting into a marketing angle, or if you're thinking of getting into launching a new product, these are the areas you should think about. That's the reason why we are covering this. And other than that, nothing else. Let's move on to our next update, which is from our friends at Facebook. So our friends at Facebook, aka Mr. Zuckerberg, is saying that starting February 2021, which is basically about another 5 months away, give or take, that they are going to limit how many ads a page can run. Right, and they have published this criteria, right? If you're spending, and they're going to base it on the annual amount of money one page, actually KK page owner has spent on that page the prior year, which is about, for $100,000 you can only have 250 ads. For medium-sized businesses that have spent anywhere between 100,000 to 1 million in the last 12 months is 1,000 ads. 1 million to 10 million is about 5,000 ads, and over 10 million you can have 20,000 ads at the same time. That's going to be like Donald Trump / Joe Biden type campaigns where they have like pouring millions of dollars. They're going to run 20,000 millions of variations. Now, the point here is why are they doing it, or at least why is Facebook claiming why they're doing it is, number one, they're saying when someone who's spending less than $100,000 on their platform and they're creating multiple ads, right? So some people, there is a notion in the market space, that you need to have variations of your ad, and sometimes you need to take your winning ad and multiply it by 10 times and change a little bit of here, tweak it here and there, and then keep changing. Facebook is saying that they're seeing a lot of uptick in terms of people changing their ad, stopping their ad, moving their ad while the ad is still in learning phase. Now, that's Facebook saying. Now, the word on the street is that sometimes Facebook will keep an ad in learning phase for 7 to 10 days time, and people don't want to keep that an ad in that long time. They want to get results quickly. And this is something I'm not sharing hearsay. This is something I'm sharing from information that I've gotten from people who are actually running their own campaigns, and they're saying, learning phase, when I see an ad in learning phase, is just basically Facebook trying to keep it learning phase as long as it can so that they can spend more money. And look, at the end of the day, the game here is marketeers or advertisers who are advertising on Facebook wants to maximize their return, right? And they want to test quickly. They want to kill the ineffective ad very quickly so that they can move on to the next one. I mean, this has probably given rise to a lot of these impatient marketeers, advertisers who are basically not going to even wait for a learning phase. Now, Facebook doesn't say how long this learning phase is. On the other hand, Facebook makes money if an ad is in learning phase, if it's not performing well, and it just keeps it there. But one thing they're going to do is they're going to limit, if they limit the number of ads that someone at a time can run, when they're below a certain dollar threshold, what this does, I think it frees up a lot of inventory for Facebook, number one. Number two is, it gives them a more ability to basically put a tighter control around, audits and finding those bad actors and bad ads who are trying to slip by through a review process. So basically, Facebook is trying to reduce the number of ads someone below a certain threshold is running, and they're basically saying, we don't want you to crowd our system. Let's keep our system a little bit clean so that it's easier for us to monitor, as well as we want to increase our inventory for people who are high spenders. That's what my thought is all around. But Facebook hasn't come out with that. It's always, we need to read between the lines, and that's my point here. I'll leave it up to you, but I want you to know that, this is coming in about 5 months' time. Good thing they're not doing it during the holiday season, which is right around the corner. They're doing it in the next new year, and between February and June, people are going to fight and figure it out. With that, let's move on to the next update, which is from our friend at Snapchat. So what Snapchat came out with was basically some data, again, similar to our friends at Twitter did, which is they're talking about Gen Z. Gen Z are basically people who are right now between the age of 13 and 24 years old in the US, and they're saying Snapchat is saying 90% of the Gen Zers on their platform, so they have, and that is a lot more than Facebook, Instagram, Messenger combined in this age bracket. So that's yay for Snapchat. Like, look, they are able to tap into the future purchaser, future generation at an early age, so they're going to probably stay with them. Now, what Snapchat found from their, they've partnered with this institution called Cantor. I haven't heard of them before that, but that's not the point. The point is they went in and they basically looked at what are these Gen Zers looking for, what motivates them, what are they buying for, right? Because that's what it's very important, because today's Gen Z, which is between the age of 13 to 24, is going to be our future customers who we are going to sell any product, services, things like that. So one thing the Snapchat really mentioned, and I found it very interesting, is Gen Zers express themselves through brand selection. So the brand that they choose says a lot about them. So